The Scott. Am I frozen? The Scott Fish Bowl. Anyone? Hello? Check 1, 2. Can we hear me? The Scott Fish Bowl is almost here, and the Lakers sold for a couple of bees. That doesn't rhyme. Welcome to Analytics are for the nerds. Let's go.
Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up.
Once again, gentlemen, I'm sorry about losing your boner. So sorry.
Very clear 101 in this biggest foot in the mouth draft. And the 101, it's very clearly Rex Ryan, because that guy has definitely put some feet in the mouth. 100%. Guy loves feet, his white feet.
Big feet.
Lots of feet in
Little
the mouth,
feet.
I'm sure.
So many feet.
I gotta tell you, I am, you know this about me, you've been around for 20 years, you know I'm like 15 years late to a trend, but I'm also like 10 years before the next trend. I could rock out a visor, I think. I could rock it every day, and not for a long time, because eventually that trend will spill again. But I think tomorrow I can go out and people are like, he's rocking it. He's doing it right. He's doing it.
Hair and the double mustache and that is fucking gross. So welcome.
I do want to be clear though that I have earned one, and Lou is depressed. There's a big difference. Lou is still trying to convince 16-year-olds he's cool, and they keep telling him they don't want weed from him. They can get it from anywhere.
What I laugh about, or you guys laugh about Kyle making fun of me every time I play that open. I laugh every time I play that specific open at, in true Louis fashion, how I'm like, you've known me for 20 years to you, Ellie. And I think we're going on like 12 legitimately, but 20 is a lot. 20, you would have not wanted to be around 21-year-old Louis, I'm sure.
No.
You hardly want to be around 41-year-old Louis.
I like how aged your brain and body is. That 12 years feels like 20. That's like that's a hard time. It's a hard time.
I do think I'm just that person that I just obviously over exaggerate everything. But it did feel like I've known you for 20 years. I feels like I've done comedy for 20 years, and you line up with that. But I guess it has not been that long.
No, that's how garbage life is, everyone. It just feels so long.
It just takes so long.
You're like, you only have tomorrow and the rest of your life. It's so long. I will say I'm pulling a Ryan, and my Wi-Fi is a little goofy right now. So if I Irish goodbye, I will jump on my cell phone, and I'll probably have great connection there because it's trashy T-Mobile. They're not a sponsor yet, so I can trash them. And apparently great service. So look at us. I feel like, look at our weird Guess Who looks. Louis, you look like young Lord Licorice from Candyland. And
well, since our listener Tom messaged you about how cool my glasses were, I haven't taken them off. I've showered with them. I've slept with them. I haven't taken them off at all. That is like the biggest compliment in the world. So they will be on my face until he says that they're ugly.
Okay, I believe he loves it. So
I like your glasses today. A little bit different.
Yeah, I'm they're clear, so I feel like it just changes my face shape. I don't know. Glasses are so fun. And Louis, how old were you when you first started wearing glasses? 2 weeks ago.
I only laugh because I got a picture, and I'll send it to you at some point. I think it was like 8, but my first pair of glasses, I was like, again, in true Louis fashion, like a shirt like open, bare chest just out, and like they were the ugliest, nerdiest glasses ever. And I did one of these poses like for the camera, and thought I was so cool. Yeah, that's so it's been a while. It's been a long time. I've a lot of people like, why don't you get the LASIK? And so I don't want, I like how I look with glasses. Glasses would become my thing. That's kind of, my little thing.
I love it. I like that at 8 years old, you had an open shirt and you were like, being
Dude,
inappropriate.
if I could find this picture, you're gonna lose your mind. I was the coolest.
I'm looking for mine right now. I was in second grade. I had bifocals. I might have discussed this on the show before, but if you want to talk about why I'm uncomfortable with everything about myself, it started with bifocals in second grade. Because I was like, no, I promise I'm not reading that much. And they're like, you are. I'm like, I don't. I'll stop reading books. And they're like, and then they gave me bifocals. So here I am, a fellow window face. Ryan was not only well off as a kid, has good vision. So once again, fuck you, Ryan.
No, yeah, I did not ever have prescription glasses. I did have a Warby Parker phase where I liked to wear them for about 6 months, and that was about it.
When was this phase? I have follow-up questions.
Like 6-7 years ago, something like that. Yeah, it was
Right,
well into adulthood. It wasn't like like a high school thing. But
this is a law school thing, wasn't it? You were just
no, post law school. Actually, the whole prompting of it was taking a trip down to Austin, Texas, and there was a store there, so I just picked them up there. It's like when in Austin, Texas, you buy some glasses. I guess I don't know, or cowboy boots. Cowboy boots probably would have made more sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On prescription glasses though?
No, none at all. Just
oh, you're faking a disability.
Yeah, I like to think Ryan doing the same thing that I do every time I travel, and I like just build a whole another personality because like that's just like whatever, I'm doing my own thing. I can be whoever I want here. We're not in and like he does it, but the only change he makes is that Ryan wears glasses.
That's Brian Mira. That's my
Oh, so good. Well, Ryan, I've got some big news for you, Mr. Attorney of the pod. The big pop culture news of the day is Karen Reed is not guilty on any of her big charges. So Karen Reed was that big story that there was a mistrial earlier. There was a potential murder of a boyfriend. It's been all over. I don't need to talk about it because you should know about it already. But do you want to talk about it while I switch to my iPhone?
Sure. I will. I'll say. Do you know anything about it?
I know absolutely nothing about the case. I know. Is it terrible that I know nothing about the case? But I just I don't follow I really don't follow pop culture at all, which is what makes everything and nothing so great, because you're just like presenting me with this information for the first time, even when it does intertwine with my profession. Still don't follow it usually.
I like the spin that you just did. That's kind of nice. What about the Lakers being sold for $10 billion? You know anything about them? No?
I mean, I did hear that. I don't think I know anything about, much about the sale. I do know some private equity group, capital venture, capital. I don't know, some rich guy. So that's all I know.
No, it's happening to Ryan. This whole fucking show is gonna fall apart if it's just me talking to the fucking air. I'll tell you that right now. The show is gonna fall apart. She's stuck. She's stuck now. Oh man. Well, man, I had something to share too with her. Well, I'll wait until she gets back to share it. Man, this is gonna be. How are you doing, Ryan? You over there? Oh, Ellie's coming in with the. This is great.
How good's the iPhone, you guys?
Oh, we said this before when you've had to do this. Like the video is better than your laptop video.
Ew, I hate me. How do we want to guess? I'm still on, right?
Yeah.
Do you want to guess how poor my laptop is, or do you think it's a good one?
I mean, it should be a good one. You're not broke anymore. You come up, all right? You don't have to live in that anymore.
You're right. I did accidentally, I love to do a little free weight, and I did drop a weight on my laptop before, so maybe that's the reason why it's a little crusty right now. But
wait. Do I need to be back, or should I switch to my phone? Because I could do that.
I'll go to my phones. It seems like you're back right now.
Okay.
You always confuse me because when you're trying to figure out if your Wi-Fi is okay, you look around the room like you're trying to catch a fly. And I'm like, I can't tell if you're like trying to do anything. Wait, real big development here though. Hold on, real big development. Oh man, all right, there it is. Huh? Fucking, did I nail the definition of that picture though? I mean, that is hot as hell. No?
That
Oh wow.
is so I'm getting Chevy Chase vibes right here.
Wow.
And
Wow.
I like it.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm gonna bring those glasses back. Let's see if Tom likes those. I'm gonna bust those out.
Are you reading your like elementary school yearbook? What is that?
There was zero chance I was reading anything like that. I'm not even trying to be funny. This is cool. I'm not trying to be weird or sad. My father when he was in prison, he would send me like wrestling magazines and sports encyclopedias because that's the all I liked, but he wanted me to read. So never would I read whatever the academia was, but I finished 8th grade reading in 4th grade, not to brag, because I was reading sports encyclopedias and wrestling magazines at 4. Now I wasn't 4 in that picture. I was 18. I know I was a late bloomer.
I want to say something that's pretty impressive, just in honor of your dad. He must have been such a boss that he could be in prison and afford encyclopedias outside of prison. Like literally no money is being earned. And he's like, I make so much money in jail doing whatever I'm doing. Like that's badass. That's badass.
I will give him a little pump ups. I've had correction offers stop because obviously he got out, he started a business that I run, and so like I run I drive a ad for his former business, so I'm easy to find. People know like that it's associated with him. I've had correction officers stop me, old corrections officers, old guys, and go, dude, your dad was the best. And like stopping me, like we had our deal, but I would bring him. He had his Sunday sauce, and like I mean, it was straight out of Goodfellas shit that they used to get away with back in the day. Yeah, it's some fun stories there. But yeah, he did. He wanted me to read, and I haven't read since. So, but those wrestling magazines really did me well. He got distracted and when he was talking. Did anything on the Lakers talk? Did you have anything there, or did you just go away, or did you even hear?
Well, now all my facts are on my guys. I am so sorry to the listener of our podcast right now, because I had all these great details and now it's in my phone, and if I go away it's gonna, so I'm winging it right now. I just think it's amazing that the team was bought for millions, and now it's being sold $10 billion. I mean, it is it's one of those teams that people who don't even like sports will wear their jerseys, just like the New York Yankees, which I always find is very odd. But yeah, what an amazing accomplishment, and yeah, pretty great. Good for them.
Do you think it says anything about what the buses think of the future of the NBA? Like if they're trying to cash out now, like, I mean, are they sensing like LeBron's going to be leaving? It's going to go, the ratings are a bit down for the finals this year, at least relatively speaking. So, I mean, are they trying to pull out of this investment? I mean, maybe there's some of that. I mean, it's a majority share, so they're kind of losing control, other than the fact that I think Jeannie Buss stays as governor.
I saw, and she's the one that has I mean, not trying to be shitty, but her dad's what? How old is he? It's got to be 100, isn't he? I mean, he's old. I mean, and I mean, to me, it's amazing that the same guy owns the Dodgers, and I mean, those got to be two of the top just because of the market they're in, but they got to be two of the top 7 or 8, valued franchises. Ellie probably had this information when she.
Well, I will say, just to show that I do know stuff like football, okay, but like the Lakers are right behind the Giants right now, so they are, and with Shohei Ohtani, like they are making bank right now. So
yeah, so there was that's a huge amount of money. But I like the point that you made, and that's kind of what I was going to ask you about, Ryan, but you pretty much hinted at it. You think you think LeBron being gone is already for sure. I just wonder. To me, this definitely made it 100% sure. I didn't feel like it was definitely going to happen. Now I feel like that probably happens.
LeBron's a guy to me that, I mean, the way that he's written his legacy, and I think it's commendable. I mean, obviously winning the title in Cleveland was huge. And he won the bubble title with the Lakers back in 20. But you know, he's somebody that he likes to keep the narrative kind of shifting. So I would expect him to be gone. I would love a return to Cleveland. I just, personally would love to see him try to go win one more there with a pretty good team. But we'll see. He probably goes to a big market, tries to get one more title.
I think he stays.
I think he goes back to Cleveland. I do. I think he goes back to Cleveland. That to me, that makes a lot of sense. They're on the verge. They're on the verge of being great. So he could kind of close out back home. Tatum's probably out for next year with Boston. They were a big thing. The Knicks are a mess after, all that. So like the competitors, the Magic would be like their top, I think, contenders next year with how things are shaking out. And I don't think the Magic would have money.
The Magic are not going to be good enough next year.
Dude, they traded for whatchamacallit, and they got Wagner and Banchero.
That is a Buffalo Sabres move. Like, that's a move the Sabres would make. Be trading 4 first-round picks for Desmond Bane. Are you kidding me?
That's the wrong podcast.
I know. Sorry.
Allie, do you? I know now you're on your phone, so you might not be able to see the banners. So, did you have anything else?
Yeah, I have a really sad. No. Well, yeah, it's more sad for you, but there's a really sad study that just came out about people that smoke weed have like 20% higher risk of cardiovascular disease. Anyway, guys, moving on. If only we knew what was that is a true.
Let me say this. I'm sure it doesn't help. It's not. I don't think it's much different. I don't know the studies, but I'm sure it's not much different than cigarettes. And the people that smoke cigarettes and then switch vaping to the same people that, like I was, that used to smoke weed and now just vape weed. I don't think vaping is. Vaping might even be worse because like vaping takes more sucking. Dude, that's so funny that we just both said that. I like you knew you knew the damage I was talking about.
What if we just, as we both said sucking, it was like Parent Trap, and like you and I switched lives, and we're like, what? My dad was in prison. I'm like, oh my god.
I have those cool glasses on.
You could read more than just wrestling, and all of a sudden you're like, whoa.
But I'm also happier than most of you, and this is again maybe sad and funny. I have high blood pressure, shocking, but I went off of Adderall for a really long time because of it. And recently I was like, I need my Adderall back. And I told my doctor's like, I just worry about it. And I go, listen, I know the risk, but this life sucks without it. So if you give it to me and I die, at least that life will be pretty cool, until then. But whatever, we're all, God's plan. God's plan, as Drake would say.
I can't wait to clip this when you die one day. But then Ryan and I don't know how to clip the podcast, so we just say, "Remember?"
Louis did God's plan.
So good. All right, guys. Again, sorry about the technical difficulties, but we've got some fun things to talk about. We are going to do the flavor of the week. Like I said a little earlier, we are. This is where I'm going to struggle bus with this, Lou. Okay. We're going to go to the flavor of the week.
All right. Well, what we've done in the past is Rye will do, his rookie in the off season, but I think now we're done with rookie love. Let's hear your player, and then I got a fun story.
You told me it didn't have to be a rookie.
But it still is. Okay,
it's still a rookie. Okay, but I didn't approach it just by like, all right, I just went to my highest exposure player in best ball drafts. I'm talking post draft best ball, And I was surprised I had this much of this player, but I think it just goes to what I think his value is. I'm at 50% of Emeka Egbuka right now. And I know we talked about him in the last draft and you hate it, but hear me out for a second. All right. I think Egbuka has so many outs to a top 24. Yes, top 24 wide receiver finish this year. So first of all, Mike Evans. Mike Evans is hanging on by a thread. That guy could fall apart at any moment. The guy is like one of those cars that's like put together with like duct tape, and like he's rolling down the hill and he's gone too fast. And I swear to God, that guy's gonna. Then their number 2 receiver just had a torn ACL, and he's also 30 years old. So like, I don't know how much you're gonna want to expect out of Chris Godwin. And the reports out of camp are that this guy is just a pro's pro, is crushing camp, is standing out, making plays, and he was the second or third, if you want to consider Hunter a receiver, but second or third receiver taken in the draft at pick 19. So there's a strong capital statement draft wise. You have a player that's going to get opportunities in a system that they're going to throw the ball. That's the way that the Bucs operate. I know Liam Cohen's gone, but are they going to just suddenly become a running the ball smash mouth football team? No, they paid Baker Mayfield to run that offense for a reason. He's run it for several years. I think he's golden for 110 targets and 80 to 90 receptions, and that's going to pay off at pick. I mean, you're drafting him at ADP right now, like 95. So I think he's going to go up probably like 20 or more spots. I'm thinking two to 3 rounds by the end of the summer. Mark my words, when we're talking about this player in August, your price is going to be much higher. So get your bags now before the price goes up.
I will 100% be marking your words all year round to tell you how bad you're wrong on this. Mike Evans was number 7, wide receiver 7 last year, and you're talking about his wheels falling off. And I hate old players, and I fade them, but that fading Mike Evans be off of wide receiver 7 is crazy. I will listen to you on the Godwin point, and the only other way that the only other little thing I'll give you here, and never would I get close to 50%. I don't think I'm at 2% because he's just undraftable at that range of where he's going right now. And if you're saying he goes up, which I don't think he will, I don't think anything will change from now till August. So I don't think he will. But if you're saying that he's going to go up, I definitely won't touch him. The only little sliver of anything I want to give you is that if Godwin or one of those guys gets hurt, he has some end of year winning possibility in week 16, week 17, but your team's not going to get there if you're drafting.
All right. We'll see. 50%. Yeah, we'll see about that. All right. Your boy, Mike Evans, how many 100-yard games did Mike Evans have last year? Tell me that.
Yeah, wide receiver 7. That's all you can
It doesn't matter. You can't just look at that. It's about points per game. It's about spike weeks. That. How many 100-yard games? Just take a guess.
I will say 5, 6.
2. He had 200-yard games. The rest were all 100 or yard. He was a touchdown merchant. He had 4 games where he had 2 touchdowns each game. Yeah, that's nice. Is that sustainable? Do you want to bet on touchdowns every year? Absolutely not. I want to bet on talent, and I'd much rather bet on a guy who just got drafted in the first round.
Lord Licorice, your counterpoint?
I do feel like I'm going to lose value in him or lose out on him in Dynasty because I hate his outlook this year so much that I'm avoiding him. And I do think in 2 or 3 years, I'm going to wish that I had him. That doesn't mean that I want him on any underdog this year, but I will, right. I'll fight that point. I'll listen to you. My flavor of the week. I know I have been, when we do this, the segment, I talk about like a girl that I've tried to hit on this week or something. And I've kind of been a few months of just been doing my own thing and celibacy and, not really knowing, I mean, that's not 100% my choice. I will say it hasn't been. I think it's more. I'm hoping that it's a group effort thing, just that the world is doing it, but I don't think it's the world. But I've decided that. So I really haven't been doing day. I'm just I'm off the all that stuff. I will tell a funny story. I was out at the East Aurora Music Festival. I shouldn't even be saying where I was at, but I was at, and when you were supposed to meet me, Ellie, and then
I got day drunk. I'm sorry.
But we were out there. I was out there with a buddy, and dressed like Louis. But I have these pants that they're like Hammer shorts, like MC Hammer shorts. They're very wide, and they're like capri like, and they're weird that like I can lift them up to my boobs, but they would still be at my ankles. It's all air in there, but whatever. So I was wearing those because I'm cool and I'm 41 and I don't mind if people are looking, but people were looking. At one point I was dancing because I'll dance and I don't give a shit. And a guy, maybe a 25, 26-year-old drunk guy without even caring, without trying to hide it, just sat there with his phone recording me, literally from 10 feet away. And I don't give a shit. I was doing my thing, and I literally go over to our friend Kyle, and I was like, "That dude still recorded me." And he just started laughing his ass off, and we're both just dying laughing. And I continue to dance. Don't care. Now we run into these girls that Kyle had known from somewhere or whatever, and one was really cute, younger girl, like literally half my age, but very beautiful girl. And he joked around with me about 2 weeks later. He's like, I saw those girls that we saw there, and the one did ask about you. And I go, oh yeah. And she was like, he was like, well, not really. She goes, was that your friend, the one with the shorts? And when anybody says the one with anything, like anything that you're wearing, that's not. I understand that's not a good thing. If you're saying the one with the whatever that thing is, it's not good. And she goes, yeah, that's my. He probably didn't want to admit it, but yeah. And she goes, he was really feeling himself, and I took that as a compliment. And I was like, oh, yeah. So she noticed I was feeling myself. And he was like, I don't think it's the compliment you think it is. But I was like, I'm gonna do that. So that is. But besides that, I've noticed I'm drafting a lot of Jameson Williams this week. I'll leave that short. I don't want to talk about Jameson Williams. You talked about Ibuka for a half hour. But I'm clicking on Jameson Williams a lot more last week or two than I have in all off season. And he's picking up some flavor with me. Any flavor of the week for you, Ellie? You got any things you've done more?
Yeah, everyone else's Wi-Fi but mine. It is
mine. That's really saying something when you're including mine in
that. Let's blow through these 18th round underdog dart throws. We were gonna do one of each position. Rye, start and just do who you're drafting the most there at the end of the 18th round at each position. Blow through it a little bit. I'm going to blow through mine pretty quickly.
Okay. For 18th round quarterbacks, it's Jackson Dart. I talked about him, I think, last week or the week before. It's a nice – I think if you're looking for bankable points at the end of the season, you're making a pretty solid bet because I expect him to get looks by, let's say week 10 at the latest. For running backs, I was drafting a lot of Brashard Smith before draft, and it's still continuing. I'm good on him. I kind of like the idea that it's going to be a running back by committee, and if you're making a bet against Pacheco, you only then have to beat out Kareem Hunt, the ghost of Kareem Hunt and Elijah Mitchell. So hell yeah, let's go Brashard Smith, who tested pretty well. For wide receiver, there are a ton of really good dart throws in this range. I think personally, but I've been grabbing a lot of Calvin Austin Jr. lately. I know Louis, you might have talked about him, and I like Roman Wilson for dynasty, but for potentially being a second option in Aaron Rodgers' offense, I'll take a shot at that. Tight end, again, I think there's so many good options. round 18, he's not usually Mason Taylor, but if he fell, I love that. Otherwise, I like Arroyo. I do expect him to take over from Fant if Fant's even on the roster. So the only problem with Arroyo is that I take so much Bowers and they share a bye week 8. That I try to go someone else, but man, I would take a lot more Arroyo if it weren't for that. And sometimes I just say, fuck it, it's 1 week, who cares? So
real funny on mine. I had Dart at quarterback, and so I'll go what my second option would be, and it's not Kenny Pickett, as I've been saying all off season. I'm actually back on the Shador train, and then until today when he was running. When he sped 121 miles per hour or whatever, got caught and just keeps doing dumb shit. So Dart for me, I'll just take your answer with you. I had Brashard Smith as my running back, but I did have a second backup thinking that you might say him. And I like Mostert to as free there in that round. He's going as much as it pains you really, and me as a I'm on Janie a lot too, but you are on him to an extreme. He's gonna eat some of those touchdowns, especially early in the season. I'll bet you through 5 weeks he's got more touchdowns than Jenny.
How much you want to bet on that?
I will bet you. You watch. I'm telling you, we go through this every year with these type of guys, and we're always like, "Why the fuck does it go?" And Pete Carroll is going to do it. Chip Kelly uses multiple running backs all the time. I'm just he's free, and I think he's worth it, especially on Genty teams. I'll take him there. Wide receiver. Again, funny, Roman Wilson instead of Calvin Austin is my guy there. And again, you nailed it. Who knows which one of them's going to be, but one of them's going to hit. They got to almost if they don't add. And then I've mentioned him too much, my tight end, Arondé Gadsden. I'm going to just ride that train. I think he ends up, being that tight end by the end.
And quickly, before Allie jumps in, I got to give you some props on that because he's getting some buzz lately. He's they're raving about him. I mean, the guy's showing up at like 5 o'clock in the morning to start. He's working out before his team meetings and everything. So he's definitely starting to get on my radar. So I think that's a good pick.
That's the
unlike your Mostert one.
That's the Luigi hype, we call it. People here.
And since you brought up Shador, and I think I kind of can guess where you guys are going to go with this, but who do you think is going to who will have a bigger comparative first year in the NFL numbers, Shador or Johnny Manziel? Because I think they both one had a very big bust, and Shador could have a.
I don't even know, Manziel at least got the opportunity. I don't know if Shador is going to end up. I really was feeling more likely that he was going to at least end up being the guy the last 8 weeks. I do think he's the first guy that they move on Flacco from. Where I think Flacco starts and then they move on to him. I was thinking Pickett might get that first start, but I'm starting to shy away from that process. I do think he gets an opportunity. I'm going to stick with the fact that I think he's garbage, but in fantasy, sometimes garbage doesn't matter as long as they're scoring some points for you. But Rye,
I still think that, and maybe this is just take lock, but I'm still sticking with Gabriel. I don't know why. I just feel like they want him to win that job. They picked him as their quarterback, and they're kind of letting the process play out. It doesn't look good with what just happened with Shador. Every time I hear about Shador, he's getting reps with the third string team, and at some point you're just not able to reconcile that. As summer goes on, you're running out of time. So
yeah. All right. Well, I'm rooting for Shador, so I don't think I don't think he's going to have a he's going to start very often, but he's got a lot to live up to. Anyway, on nice things, we've got the Scott Fish Bowl, which is happening next week. If any of you were there in the last year, we did it live. It was a blast. It was so much fun. This year, I know Louie, you'll be there in person. Ryan will be there in person, and I am I'm saving lives and doing the ride for Roswell. So
Yeah, you were
Yeah.
like
Sorry.
you signed up as soon as you saw Scott Fishbowl was that day, and were just like anything. I'll ride a bike miles just
Yeah,
to
I'm gonna
just to not.
I'm gonna self-fund my own fundraiser. I'm like, yeah, I'll put $200 in. Um,
Yeah,
but
I think drafts started already. Live drafts started, I think, last week, possibly. Maybe not. I haven't seen any boards or anything yet, so they might be starting this week. But yeah, we're one of the first ones. Saturday scoring came out here, Allie. If you want to kind of go over that, it's
yeah.
been weird.
Yeah, so for you listeners, we have scoring basics. So for 6 points for all touchdowns, 2 points for all 2-point conversions. Uh, that is a 1 out of 25.
A 0.04 per. So yeah,
Okay,
one
it's
point every 25 yards per pass.
125th. So it's 0.04 per yard passing, 1/10 rushing or receiving, 1 point per first down rushing or receiving. Tight ends, you get 1 extra point per reception, and for starting lineup, you get 11 starters, 11 starters and 11 at bench. And you get, let's see, quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end. You can do 0 to 2 picks and then 0 to 9 picks for your running back, wide receiver, or tight end. So a lot to think about, a lot to ponder, and we've all been there, guys. It goes fast. So let's get going. Let's talk about it.
I love
Ryan,
it. I feel like it's closest in recent memory to like normal scoring. You know, not anything like too exotic, and not in like a bad way. You know, the bonuses for the first downs are always interesting, but the thing that stands out to me is the tight end premium aspect of this. The fact that it's 2 points per reception for tight end. I mean, Bowers is the 101 easily. I think in this format, I would take him
2.5, I believe.
Oh,
Because they're yeah, I know that kind of read weird, but it's legitimately it's 1 point every target and 1.5 points per reception for tight end, and 1 point. So it's 1 and 1 for wide receiver, 1 and 1.5 for tight end.
Oh, I
so
like that too for targets.
Yeah.
So you just want pass heavy offenses, right? I mean, where does Wandale Robinson go, right? You know, he's like the target hog that's going to be earning a point per target, right? I mean, he's a riser. The tight ends, to me, there's two of them in the clearly elite tier with Bowers and McBride, and then you have Kittle, who I think is just maybe in a 1B tier, right, behind those two guys. But all three of those are great options. And you can start multiple tight ends here, so you could realistically
start 9. You could actually, I want to say, and I really wanted to try to find definitive answer, and I didn't, but I have read two different interpretations. I'm almost positive you don't need to start a quarterback. I'm almost positive you can say, and I know we should know this. We're
correct.
fantasy
No,
football,
right.
But that's right. You can literally start 11 tight ends each week, which is insane, and it's going to make the draft just all sorts of fun.
Well, I think people don't the idea of not necessarily starting a quarterback, like you're still going to want to do that for most times, I think, right? You're going to want to start at least one, especially the rushing quarterbacks, right? Because it's 6 points for any touchdown. Now the equalizer here is that sometimes you only get 4 points for a passing touchdown. Now it's 6 points across the board, rushing or passing or receiving. So it's in a certain way that the floor of the pocket passer gets brought up slightly. It's super, super interesting, like you said. As far as the first downs go, that's the part I'm going to want to do a little research on, because it's not something I carry around with me. Like who are the best players for getting first downs, but I want to know that. I want to know, because that's a point per first down. I mean, I get it. Long passing plays that result in touchdown, technically that's a first down, so you get that as well. But I love the scoring format. I like that you can mostly just stick to conventional drafting wisdom. I think for the most part, especially in tight end premium leagues, if you've played in those types of leagues. But there are enough nuances to this that make it probably a very wild draft. And Louis, that these drafts that occur all at the same time, next Saturday, those three boards are going to look vastly different.
Way different. It sounds like it's going to be, like you said, all about volume, whether it be, you're getting rushing, you're getting half a point per carry. There's that. So even with you said it brings the pocket passers value up a little bit. I don't think it does. I think it actually makes the guys that are even rushed, the Josh Allen's even more valuable, to be honest, because they're getting whatever 2.5, 3 more points.
All I'm saying is just with the touchdown value scoring, when traditionally you're only getting 4 points for a passing touchdown from Burrow, now you're getting 6. So he gets 2 extra points than he normally would on it, from those. But I understand your point. Rushing is still king.
If we use the last 2 years with this scoring, Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson were the only 2 players to finish inside the top 12. And then adding to them, it would be Jalen Hurts. If you went to the top 20 the last 2 years, the only 5 players that have been Allen Jackson, Jalen Hurts, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Kyron Williams. And that makes a lot of sense because he just eats up carries. His snap share is silly. So like guys like that who, are just,
Luke, can you run? Do you have a list of who would be the top 12 scorers in the scoring from last year?
I don't. I do have this. So I have because I found an article. I found. Oh wait, let's see. The gap between this is a good thing, and I'm sorry, I know this is what you asked, but the gap between quarterback 1 and quarterback 12 last year was less than 13 points a game. In 2023, it was only 9 points a game. So like that's not a lot, So I mean, it might be a thing where you want to wait on your quarterback. The top 25 last year in overall points, 4 were quarterbacks, 6 were running backs, 11 were wide receivers, and 4 were tight ends. I mean, that is just balance,
Yeah.
So it's great.
My early lean would be to just go skill position then first, and probably unless you can get Daniels, Bowers, of course, but McBride, but then you're probably going Chase. You're just going top of the board in single quarterback drafts, right?
Yeah, and tight ends, and I think tight ends are going to be. I get cute with tight ends and these things all the time because the tight end scoring is always cute. I think you're right. I think Bowers is 1-1 by a lot. I don't have the number 1 pick, so I could take him off of my radar. And so that's another thing, because I do think he's the definitive 1-1 here by a lot. He did put in literally a Travis Hunter rule because there's scoring for defensive stats, but at the end of the day, who else is playing defense? It's only Hunter, but Hunter moves up probably 3 rounds because of that. Because even if he plays only defense, which he won't, he's going to score. So Hunter's probably a 2nd round pick in this thing. And again, anybody that gets hyped up with these type of scoring rules, I try to stay away from because they're probably getting overhyped because of the rule. But
Hunter's the only one I think I would make an exception for because it's 6 points for an interception. That guy could have 4, 5 interceptions. That's 30 more points just on that alone. And I get it. And then even smaller points, I think, for passes defensed and other stuff like that. I don't know. I think the Hunter hype could be worth it because I think the guy's going to play enough on defense to get you points, on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, for sure. We could kind of cap the conversation at that because I do want to do more next week. One thing I was gonna, the 3 of us have to kind of talk about this, but I'll at least throw it out there as a possibility. Is we might be changing the day of the week we record next week because I have something, or we might not have to be able to record at all. But I would like to try to find some time next week to possibly bring on some experts and do a mock. A Scott Fishbowl mock, so we can kind of really kind of dive into it, get people talking, and then obviously the week when we get back, we'll kind of go over the event and stuff. But I do think next week we will try to do a mock somewhere if we could figure out the day. So just stay tuned for news on that because I did reach out to a few people to see if they'd be interested. We just got to kind of figure out a day. But besides that, let's go have some fun.
All right. So speaking of fish, we are drafting this week the best fish draft. So in honor of Scott Fishbowl, let's pick our favorite fish. Louis, what's the order?
I'm going to do that now. Ryan's the number 1. I am the number 2, and Allie, you are number 3.
It's been a while since I've had a 101, I think, and I couldn't have picked a better time to get the 101. I think there's an easy choice for this, at least if you're from Buffalo. And the first pick is the fish fry. I love fish fry season. I mean, it's just like, weather's starting to get, well, it's just a little less shitty. I wouldn't say it's starting to get nice. It's a little less shitty around here, and you go out to your local church or some random ass place that has unreal fish fries. I love it. What's not to like about fried fish and fries?
It is funny. I do think that that's definitely a local thing. I don't think anybody goes nuts of fish fries like us. And you're right. Like, I went to a hotel, one day this year. I've gone to VFWs, and they're amazing. Yeah, fish fry, a great 101. Honestly, thought I could get it as a sleeper later. I'm shocked. I want to go with crab legs here. I think they are the best seafood. I have a few different types of that on my list to eat, but I think crab legs are gotta be in here. You both may have heard this story, but we were doing good on time, and this is my favorite story of all time, and if I haven't told it, it's so good, and I wanted to tell it on the podcast. So Vegas, my first time there. Former friend, me and my former friend Tony, we don't talk about him, but we were there, and we went to the Caesars buffet, and stop me if you've heard this or if I've told it on the podcast. And when we got there, they were like, "Oh yeah, there's king crab," and we went nuts. So we're like, "Yeah, we're definitely." It was it's expensive, the Caesars buffet, $75 on boat. King crab, we're in. So we get there, we get the crab. Wasn't king crab. It was crab legs. Wasn't king crab. I'm fine. I mean, at this point in my life too, poor as hell. Like, I'm eating crab legs, and as much as I want, I'm happy. My buddy, on the other hand, little juiced up, wanted his king crab. He calls the manager over, and this manager, when I tell you this manager is fucking 6'6", has to fight on UFC on like Saturday nights, like that. This is just his side job, and he comes over, and he's like this big ass dude, and my buddy goes, your hostess said that there was going to be crab legs or king crab legs, and you and I both know this isn't king crab, like an asshole. And the dude was very apologetic. I'm sorry, who said it, or they probably just were wrong. It's because it's for our special members or whatever. Guy comes back with like a plate like this. I mean, it was falling off the plate of king crab. Puts it on our tables, like, don't worry about it, guys. Have fun. Cut to like 5 years later. Go ahead. What were you gonna ask? Go on, Ryan.
I was just gonna ask if it's a problem if your first pick in the fish draft is a crustacean and not a fish. It's technically not.
They all come in the same ocean. So they're fish related. So 5 years later, I'm there with my wife and another couple, and we sit down, we eat it, and I'm telling them the story. I go, watch this. And so I call the manager over, and I did the whole spiel. I said, hey, your hostess said that there was going to be king crab here. You and I both know this isn't king crab. I would like some king crab. And he goes, I'll be right back. And he comes over with all 4 hostesses and goes, which one said that? My whole face just dropped, and I was like, I'm sorry, I got caught in a lie. It was the most embarrassing moment of my life. All right, thanks for indulging me in that, but it was so good because I just had my chest pumped out. I was sure this was gonna go. It just did not work the way it was going. Allie, for two.
Wow. I also have a 10-minute long story. No. I'm going to go my number one pick. Sorry, just to be quick with this. Sorry, listener. Will be the Swedish Fish. R.I.P. to Red 40 Die. What a delicious treat. And
So good.
they're good. Okay. Now, second pick. When I was in Las Vegas, I'm I'm gonna just be okay. Okay, yeah, we'll do this. I'm gonna go with the classic card game Go Fish. What a
Both are
great
great.
game. Yeah, such a great game, and also just a thing to keep kids busy. It's fun, easy, classic. It's the two-person solitaire. It's great.
Neither of those were on my list, and they're both great.
Thank you.
I'm gonna do the hippie thing. I'm gonna go with the band fish.
Mhm.
I gotta do that. It's easy, simple, and it doesn't come with a 10-minute story. So on to you, Ryan.
I think Dave Matthews is the better champion.
When I was in Vegas, I met fish.
At the Sphere.
I just have to mention that I was quickly searching if Kevin James had ever been like a fish character at all. And turns out he is not. And the AI response is Kevin James' character from Paul Blart Mall Cop does not have any association with fish. That's what it tells me. I mean, like, what the AI is not.
Wow, it knows you so well.
It really does. I'm going to go with Manti Te'o. Famous guy who got catfished.
Well, he didn't get catfished.
Yes.
Yes, he did.
Wait, I thought he made up an imaginary girlfriend.
No, he got catfished and then lied about it because he was getting catfished.
Fantastic, Ryan.
Yeah, that's a deep cut, but
I like it.
I couldn't let Manti Te'o slip to the third round. I had to snap him up. I'm just gonna go with, and this actually I think does count as fish, believe it or not, sushi. I like sushi. I think it's great. I mean, it actually is fish too. So like I get all of it. I get like, spicy tuna. I get, the salmon one. Yeah. Oh yeah.
All right, great picks, Ryan.
I felt I was so prepared for this, and you guys are crushing. I have two movies. I can't choose between either of them, or I'm just gonna pick one. I can't get them both. It's got to be Finding Nemo. There's another one that's really, really good, but I'll go Finding Nemo, the movie. Great movie, enjoyable. Still can watch it. Don't hate it.
Just to one up Ryan, I've got 2 championship rings on. Does that change anything? Okay, so I feel really strong with these my final 2 picks. I could even go 6, but we're good. My number 3 pick is from the great Legends of Hidden Temple, the Blue Barracudas. The team, very good. And then my final and very strong pick is I love a good drugstore. I love there's always this aisle that has like things on sale, and it'll be like crusty old nail polish. It'll be vitamins that probably have fen and illegal things in it. There'll be like some adult diapers. It's amazing. Those shelves are, I love them. But back in the 90s, there was a great, not funny gift, but everyone had one. And it is Big Mouth Billy Bass. That singing wallfish that was so
take me to the water. Yes. Dude. Yes. That dude was so great. Oh my
god. Wow, we really went far. They were like, kids get the Furby, adults are gonna get Big Mouth Billy Bass. So that is my my fourth pick.
I mean, Ryan did great too.
Really good job. Really good job.
You're
strong closer. Strong closer.
Those are both great.
I might not have Wi-Fi, but I know fish.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, I'll leave that. I'm gonna go with. I got some good ones. I'm gonna go with fishing for compliments because I'm pretty good at that. I'm gonna go ahead and take fishing for compliments as number 4 and final pick, and then Rye.
Last pick, I'm just going to go with the good old fish bowl, like the alcoholic fish bowl. You go down to Florida, you go to vacation, somewhere warm. I mean, drinking out of a 32-ounce, oddly shaped fish bowl thing, plastic fish bowl, it's pretty good.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Right.
Those are, you guys crushed those. Ellie, I know you said you could go 6. You got some honorable mentions. Run through 'em.
Yeah, I got Flipper, the great TV
Mm.
character. I also have Lisa Frank's Dolphin, if anyone's a fan of Lisa Frank cartoons, as well as Flounder from Little Mermaid and the Cracker Goldfish. Yeah,
Oh,
I really just killed it. I really had so many
yeah.
options, you guys.
Oh,
I was
you did.
prepared.
It was good.
I wasn't
Uh,
prepared for the show, but I was prepared for this draft. I'll tell you
well, your Wi-Fi
that.
fucked you. The movie Big Fish was great.
Mm.
Jaws was the other movie I was thinking about. Carnival goldfish, just they're fun to
Oh,
take care of for anywhere from 1 week to 17 years.
yeah.
The world is your oyster is one of my favorite sayings. I say it all the time. And then I went with one of the ones on my list I thought would have been cool is a San Jose Sharks, but the starter jacket. That was just a
Uh,
90s. So that was, we all had it. Was the coolest one by far. But yeah, those are honorable mentions. Anyone's off your list there, Ray?
Yeah, Plenty of Fish dating site. My sister and brother-in-law met on Plenty of Fish. Used to be a
aw.
dating site,
What's up,
and
Ryan?
yeah. And I would just say fishing, and like I would also include fly fishing in that. But I went to a camp in high school with my dad, for like a weekend in the Adirondacks to learn how to fly fish. I swear to God, the entire weekend I didn't catch a single fucking fish, and I was so pissed. I learned how to like tie the flies and like cast and everything. My dad was catching fish after fish, would do it right after me, and I couldn't catch a fish, so I didn't pick it. But it's still an honorable mention.
Well, I won't tell you my 20-minute Plenty of Fish story.
And just shout out to this podcast for not even saying the Miami Dolphins. Look at us. We are just so great. Everyone, thank you so much for listening to Analytics, our For the Nerds. Thank you for watching. If you are watching, you can check us out on YouTube, on all of the great listening services. Thank you for stay tuned because we will have a special Scott Fishbowl episode, right? And
Yeah.
we will see you soon and have a great week.